The rain dashed against the far glass windows of Giant Enterprises, the city lights casting a shimmering reflection against the blackened sky. Inside the 25th floor was alive with movement, assistants scurrying, phones ringing, and the constant rhythm of the elevator doors opening and shutting behind the heavy oak door of the CEO's office. Sat Jian Jungkook, sharp black suit, crisp tie, and the kind of authority that made the entire building bow down at his counter. His face was unreadable, covered with seriousness, a picture of a man who thrived on control. His empire was vast, but his heart was complicated. At the desk near his office door sat Min Hyun, his secretary. She was not just efficient, she was strikingly beautiful, long legs, scarlet lipstick, and the kind of boldness that made men shudder. And Jungkook, he was not immer. Mr. Jian, he used a voice for it as she leaned into his office, documents in hand. The Tokyo deal is ready. Would you like me to run through it with you? Jungkook looked up, his gaze lingering a little longer than necessary. She was not submit. Her blouse unbuttoned, a fraction too low, perfume lingering in the air. And the way she bent over the text as if she knew exactly what he liked, and maybe she did. Leave it on the desk, he said coolly. Through his eyes better the faintest flicker of indulgence. And Smith placing the files in front of him, her fingers brushing his hand deliberately. You work too hard, Mr. Jian. A man like you needs. He only leaned back, tapping his open, watching her retreat with the glint in his eyes. She tripped off that glint. It was her victory, but what he also did not know was that behind the expensive walls of Jungkook's penthouse there lived a woman who had given him more than temptations ever could do. His wife's Vian Jian. At home that evening, you stood in the kitchen chopping vegetables with numb fingers. The TV hummed faintly in the background, showing a romantic drama. The irony is sticking more than comforting. The clock read 10:43 p.m. Another late night, another broken promise. You signed, setting down the knife, your hand on a towel. Marriage to Jian Jungkook had never been easy. He was a man married to his business, and now it seemed to the dangerous game of attention he secretly paid. When you first married him 2 years ago, he had been passionate, tender even. He would bring home flowers, kiss your forehead before work, and call you in the middle of the day just to hear your voice. But somewhere along the way, that tenderness faded, replaced with distracted notes and excuses. And was that secretly you had seen the way Ha Young looked at him during the annual company dinner, the way her manicured hand lingering too long on his arm, the way he whispered in his ear, lips too close, and Jungkook he had not pulled away. Your chest tightened just remembering it. The sound of the front door opening jolted you back. Jungkook walked in, loosening his tie, looking as it was tightly handsome as ever. You are late again, you said softly, trying not to sound excusing but fulling. He glanced at you briefly, then heading to the fridge for water. Meeting ran over. You pressed your lips together. Meeting always meetings. Did you eat? He shook his head. You served him dinner carefully, placing the dishes on the table. He sat down but did not even look at you, scrolling through his phone instead. The silence was suffocating. Jungkook, you finally said, your voice trembling despite your effort to keep it steady. Do you even see me anymore? He froze for a second, then looked up. His dark eyes studied you, unreadable. What kind of question is that? A real one. You sounded hard. I am your wife, Jungkook, but sometimes I feel invisible, like the only woman you see this day in her the air thickened. He did not need you to say her name. He knew. His jaw clenched and set his phone down. Don't start this tonight, Ryan. Start what? Your voice cracked. I'm not blind, Jungkook. She flirts with you in front of everyone, and your voice broke into a whisper. You don't stop her. For a moment, Jungkook looked guilty, but then he leaned back, marks snapping back into place. It's harmless. She's just doing her job. Your heart shattered was seducing your husband now part of a secretary's job. You stood pushing away from the table, tears starting to spill. Maybe you have forgotten, but I am your wife, not her. And before he could answer, you disappeared into the bedroom, slamming the door behind you. The next morning, Jungkook left early without saying goodbye. He stood by the window watching his car disappear on the road, the etch in your chest heavier than ever. At the office, Hyun sorted in with coffee for him. Wearing another dangerously short skirt, long night she teased, setting the cup on the stacks. He looked tense. Jungkook sneaked faintly through hesitation, shadows his features, work never ends. Then let me take care of you, she whispered, leaned on, so her lips nearly brushed his hair. His heartbeat betrayed him, a rush of tempestuous feeling in his veins, and yet in the back of his mind your tears will. I saluted him. She pushed back his chair. Suddenly, cancel my morning meetings. I have handled it later. He unblinked, staring by the sharpness in his tone, but then she smiled, mistaking it for a sign of his desire. Of course, Mr. Jian. At home, you sat with your phone in hand, scrolling through photos from the past, your wedding day. He smiled as he carried you over the threshold night when he could not sleep without your hand in his. Where had that man gone? Your phone buzzed. A message from your best friend, Ryan. Are you okay? You seem distant lately, your fingers hovered over the keyboard. How could you explain the hollow emptiness of being a wife? Who felt like a shadow in her own marriage? You typed a reply, short and rang you before setting the phone aside, and for the first time since your wedding, a dangerous thought entered your mind. Maybe the next few days went into each other's. Jungkook that before dawn came home after midnight, and when he did, he smelled faintly of cologne that was not yours. You tried convincing yourself it was paranoia. Maybe you were overthinking. Maybe you were just tired, but every time you thought Fion leaned over his desk, hair, lipstick, staining his coffee cups, the knot in your chest grew tighter. One evening while folding laundry in the quiet apartment, you stared at one of the Jungkook's shirt, expensive jewels, smelling faintly of his hoodie. Clone on the collar, a faint lipstick mark, red a color you did not want in months. Your hands trembled as you held the fabric closer. It was not yours. It could not be yours. The days fell before you realized. When was this what your marriage had become? Meanwhile, at the office, he perched on the corner of Jungkook's desk, flipping through files. You need to relax more, Mr. Chian. She put jabbing a manicured fingers of the contract working is important, yes, but so it enjoyed life. Jungkook leaned back, his eyes briefly flicking down her legs before he forced them back up. Not that he said flatly through his lips twitched as if amused. She smacked leaning closer until they could smell her perfume. If your wife does not take care of you, you know I could. Jungkook froze. His brows knitted, and for the first time his tone snapped closer than ice. Careful, he yawned, but instead of backing away, she smiled slyly. I only speak the truth. A man like you deserves more than a neglected woman. Her words cut sharper than she knew. Neglected marriage, the phrase rang in Jungkook's ear like an Accusation because deep down he knew she was right, but not in the way she meant. It was not you who neglected him, it was him who neglected you. And yet he did not stop her frustrations, he let them linger, feeding an ego that makes his guilt. At home, you sat across from your best friend Susan at a cafe. She spit her late, watching your distracted expression. You are lost weight, Susan remarked gently, and you bit your lips, staring down at your untouched coffee. Its Jungkook her brows throat his cheating, the words stabbed like a blade. You shook your head quickly, through your heart screamed otherwise. I don't know, but there's this secretly. She's always around him. She's bold and he does not push her away. Sujan's face hardened, and you are just letting it happen. Why? And you are his wife. Don't you dare let some woman walk all over your marriage. Tears pricked your eyes, and what if he like it? What if he loves her attention more than mine? Sujan reacted across the table, gripping your hand. Then you need to decide if this marriage is worth breaking yourself over. Love is two people fighting for each other, not one fighting alone. Her words echoed in your mind long after you went home. That night, when Jungkook finally came home, you stood waiting in the living room. Where were you? You asked voice steady. Despite the storm inside, he loosed his tie, barely glancing at your work. She folded your arms. Don't lie to me. I found lipstick on your shirt. He froze mid step. Slowly he turned to face you. His jaw tightened. What are you implying? I'm not implying anything. Your voice cracked. I'm asking you straight. Are you cheating on me with her? The silence between you stretching painfully long. His dark eyes burned into yours, unreachable. Finally, he exhaled sharply. No, I am not, but his hesitation before answering broke you more than a confession would have. Then why tears spill freely? Now, why do you let her touch you? You're my husband, Jungkook mine, but every time I see you with her, I feel like a stranger. A straw worked, but no words came out. You shook your head, heart crumbling. I can't live like this anymore. And for the first time, you said it aloud. Maybe we need a break. Jungkook's eyes widened, anger flashing. A break, and don't be ridiculous. I am serious. You cut in, voice trembling but firm. If you want her, if you love the way she seduces you, then stay with her. But I won't stand here and compete for my own husband's love. The words hit him like a punch. He had faced ruthless business rivals, mafia like investors, and billions dollar negotiations, but nothing ever scared him more than the possibility of losing you. When his voice softened for the first time in months. Don't do this, but you had already turned away, your back trembling as you whispered, then give me a reason to stay. The next morning, you packed a small bag, just clothes, essentials, nothing more. You could not bring yourself to end things fully, but you needed space when Jungkook woke and saw the suitcase by the door. Panic shot through. Where are you going? His voice was sharp, but beneath it lay desperation. You avoided his gaze to Susan's just for a while. He grabbed your wrist, forcing you to look at him. His eyes were wide. Ra, don't walk away from me. You still sleep freely, then don't give me a reason to. He flinked, letting go of your wrist as if your pain wanted, and with that, you let the door shutting softly behind you, leaving Jungkook standing alone in the echo of silence. At the office later, Hyun noticed the storm in his expression and smirked knowledgeably through trouble. In paradise, Jungkook's glare could have frozen fire, not another, but Hyun only leaned closer, lip brushing his ear. You don't need her, Mr. Jian. You need me. For the first time, Jungkook's hand slammed against the desk, making her jump. Get out. She blinked, started what? Out now. His voice was venom. Hyun staggered back, her confidence fluttering. She said never seen him like this. When the door slammed behind her, Junko buried his face in his hands, breathing wrecked, because in that moment he released. He did not crave Fionn. He craved you, your warmth, your laughter, your stubbornness, your love, and he had been destroying it with his own hands. That night, Jungkook showed up at Sujan's apartment. She was curled up on the couch, tears stained when the knock came. Sujan peeked through the peephole and groaned. It's him. Do you want me to send him away? Your heart twist. When the door opened, Jungkook stepped inside, looking like a man undone. His tie was loose, his hair disheveled, eyes bloodshot iron. He breathed, his voice cracking. Please come home. You stood trembling, but your walls held firm. Why, Jungkook? So I can watch you fall for her more every day. His eyes widened with pain. He stepped closer, reaching for you. I don't love her. I never did. I just. His voice broke. I let her get too close. I was stupid. But I swear to you, Ian, it was never more than that. You stared at him, tears streaming. Then why was not I enough? His chest quivered, and for the first time in forever, Jin Jungkook, the untouchable CEO, dropped to his knees before you. You are more than enough. You are everything, and I am terrified I have already lost you. Yourself broke free, and you turned away, unable to bear the sign, because you did not know if his words were enough to heal the crack in your heart. To be continued.